Welcome to NocBro Nation.
What's up, guys?
Hey guys, today we're here to give our review of the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead.
How it's got to be, and yeah, I'm kind of.
That's not how it's got to be.
That's not how it's got to be. No, we might as well just say it right now. Like, if you haven't caught up to the show yet, yes, there are going to be spoilers. We probably won't get too deep into the spoiling a whole bunch of the comic side. We'll have another video on our predictions and some afterthoughts in another video coming up. But yeah,
let's just say it right away, and we'll get into further discussion on this towards the latter part of the video. But Carl seems to be in dire straits. He is bit.
He is bit.
And I'll tell you right away, since we'll drop it there. But because of that, not too happy, honestly, with the episode. To be honest, though, I did like a lot of the episode.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm just not okay with what happened with Carl. And I think a lot of people are on the same page.
Yeah, a lot of people are pretty upset about it, just trying to figure out the big question, why.
Yeah.
That's the biggest question there is. But we'll get into another video
definitely,
fielding
guys,
our frustrations on that.
This is a review of the season, mid-season finale. So we're going to save that. We're going to actually do a whole nother video on Carl Grimes called The Fate of Carl Grimes, where we'll give our predictions of what's going to happen, even though we already know, and what we think about it and our feelings on that, compared to that of the comics. So stay tuned for that. That should be coming up within a week or two. But yeah, we'll post that up. Anyway, we pick up the episode with Rick again, walking the snipers to find out that they're nowhere to be found, and the saviors are free and clear of the walkers roaming outside of the sanctuary.
Yeah, he's with Jadis and the trash people. They roll up, and Jadis even says, different from picture, because the picture that he took showed them surrounded, but now they're not. Somebody opens fire on them. It must be some of the saviors that are inside. I guess not really shooting to kill them. I mean, I guess they didn't really do anything. But Rick is kind of trapped in a sense, and he's yelling out to Jadis to kind of form up, and they're gone. They bug out. They're not taking any part of it. So.
Yeah, so I wasn't really surprised at that. Were you?
No.
I mean, I figured that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't really expect too much of them, other than possibly down the road, maybe that Rick and them will just wipe them out, because they're just useless at this point.
They really are.
They
really are useless. They have nothing to gain, nothing to do.
And look, I kind of like the Jadis character.
I do like her.
She's grown on
weird.
me.
Yeah, I do like her a lot.
Weird enough to grow on you. Yeah, I just... you fool me once, whatever that saying is. So we'll go into the whole arc for, or the whole storyline for Enid and Aaron.
This was kind of filler. I could have gone without it. They're traveling together, and they're going to actually try to go to Oceanside to talk to them and see if they will join the fight. Enid is asking Aaron if she thinks that they will be receptive to them. And kind of Aaron at the moment is just kind of zoned out, because he's kind of thinking back to Eric and their drives that they had together, trying to bring people back to Alexandria. So he was kind of spacing out.
And look, we're only about a day away from the death of Eric. day or two, possibly. So it's kind of understandable that Aaron's probably not fully concentrating on the task at hand. And, they make a stop. Enid suggests they make a stop as kind of to get an offering for the Oceanside people. So they stop at a distillery and get some supplies from that. Matter of fact, they show up at Oceanside with the distillery truck, right?
Yeah, and what Enid mentioned is, we should have brought them guns, but Aaron's like, no, we need these guns. Mm-hmm. And she kind of mentions, I'll give my gun to Cindy. And he's like, no, you're going to need that gun. And Enid's kind of saying, well, I hope it doesn't come to that piece where I have to use it.
It's obvious they're still worried. They're still worried because Oceanside's motto or Oceanside's beliefs are to shoot on sight. Don't give a chance, just based upon what they've been through with Negan, to kill on sight, and they're still worried about that. I'm not surprised, simply because look, it's not Rick and gang showing up to the Oceanside. It's two of them showing up to Oceanside, and at night.
So I'm not sure how far away they are. They just parked somewhere so far away, but they parked at a decent distance away from Oceanside. But they see if Aaron kind of wakes up and sees a figure peering out from the side of the truck. He goes and checks it out, gets hit in the head, knocked down to the ground. Enid comes around and sees somebody standing over him and shoots, and she actually shoots Cindy's grandmother. Now, for this, I didn't. In a way, it's not a huge deal, but this could help because
big deal, dude.
It is a big deal. But her grandmother was one of the only ones that said no, they're not fighting. So, this could scare Oceanside away to say no, we're not fighting for you, or it could help them with the cause.
But I don't really.
It was on accident. I mean, it was kind of she was protecting Aaron.
Yeah. So Sydney or Cindy. Cindy.
Yeah.
Anyway, she comes to the aid of her grandmother, who I don't think we got confirmation that she died.
We don't know if she's dead.
She obviously is wounded. Pretty,
right.
pretty badly.
we do not have full confirmation whether if she's dying from the wound or not. We just know that Enid shot her pretty close range.
Yeah, and it's not a good look. No. It'll be interesting, but that is where that storyline ends.
Yep.
We do get back to Carl, right, and the Alexandria, and Daryl's there. Daryl's shown back up with Tara, and is it just me? But every time I look at Daryl now, I'm just pissed off. I'm like, dude, you've screwed up so much that it's just pisses me off. Him and Tara.
Yeah, and so. Because Michonne kind of sees him, she's kind of glad to see Daryl back, and she's kind of saying, I'm sorry, I couldn't go through with it, I couldn't do it. But Daryl, just first thing out of his mouth, it worked.
He says that a couple of times.
It worked. We're going to go there and make him surrender because it worked. Yeah, well, as we know, it doesn't. And immediately, right after they're kind of talking, and also after Rosita and Tara kind of speak.
Which was funny. It was that was hilarious. I actually was glad that happened because just the way that the actor, Tara just the way that she comes up with those 1-2 liners, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Rosita's just, her and Rosita make up from their differences of wanting to attack the sanctuary. Mm-hmm. And she's just packing cases on there. And
Tara's like, yeah, once you get that big one. Yep. What about the air horn? Yep. Just
knew that was coming. Yep. But I did want to say one thing before that, though. But we do know their plan now. Mm-hmm. And the whole plan was to obviously wait until supplies within the sanctuary are so dire that they essentially will go to the sanctuary, and I think we discussed this in our last video, to accept the surrender of Negan and his people. Mm-hmm. It's been what we believe is 3-4 days, a few days. And Maggie's on her way. Mm-hmm. Alexandria is going to be on their way. I mean, they are packing up to leave to go there.
Yep. And immediately we hear some knocking at the gates, and we know immediately who that is. I knew who immediately that was.
Just the sound.
Just the sound of the knocking, and then we hear Negan over. He's on his little telecom or teleprompter, whatever he's on. And it begins. He rolls up on Alexandria. He's telling everyone to come to the gate.
Tells them they have 3 minutes.
They have 3 minutes to get their apologies in order. And he will pick the worst one and kill that person.
Yeah.
And then he'll kill that one person, kill Rick, and then move on.
You know, I do want to jump back because we did forget a pivotal scene in this episode. And it does deal with Carl, because we're about to jump in right to Carl at the sanctuary.
Yeah.
When we opened up the episode after we dealt with Rick, we cut to Carl scribing a letter to his father. Right. And I think there were a couple of letters, but that one in particular was he writes Dad on it, and folds that up. So as we stated in the previous video, this is Carl getting his things in order. It's getting his affairs in order because he knows that he's been bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
we said that in the beginning of the video.
We said at the beginning, yeah. So I mean, they put so much foreshadowing on Carl throughout the whole episode. I mean, when he's sitting there writing this the letter to his dad, at that point in time, I did not believe that potentially he was going to die. I thought maybe something, either he was just going to leave or something may have happened to him, but not exactly what happened at the end of this episode.
And I didn't either. And there was even another flashback of after Rick shoots off Sadiq, shoots a couple rounds off his head. Carl is walking down the street with his dad, with Rick, who catches up with him and basically explains, is like, look, we can't, what is your plan with this war? Just to kill everyone? Right. Like, it can't be like that. Yeah. We have to save lives. It's got to be this way, right. is basically what Carl tells him.
It's how it's got to be.
It's how it's got to be.
The title of the episode, yeah.
And, you know, he's wanting to help people, not kill everyone. And he gets the sense that his dad just wants to wipe out everyone that disagrees with the way that he sees things.
Right.
And that kind of goes into Carl's mindset after the aftermath of you know, what he's been through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which we'll get into.
Yeah, it was pretty sad to see. I mean, he had some, I mean, he was basically crying, but you could see the hurt in his face and just the he knew his time was coming to an end, but he wanted to do what he could to do the right thing at the time he had left. So,
so this is where we get
Negan.
Carl. In the meantime, when Negan is on the intercom, he is telling Carl actually takes charge. It's one of the first times I've seen the actor Chandler Riggs. He's actually done an awesome job this episode.
Yeah.
But it's the first time I believed him in what he was saying, and he was basically rallying the troops to gather everything they can and get out the back of Alexandria.
Yes.
Because obviously the front was loaded with what they believed was the entire Savior army.
Yeah. So he was going to lead them out. He was going to kind of do a lot of diversion. He was picking up a lot of smoke bombs, which he uses, and he then goes to the front gate to talk to Negan, and this was a really good interaction between the two.
Probably one of my favorite parts of the episode.
Yeah, and he basically, as Negan is kind of saying, believing that Rick is inside, Carl comes up and says, you know, Dad's not here, and Negan is very interested in that, and he's like, look, telling Negan, just, you know, let's try to find a way to work this out. What can we do to end this? And Negan is like, well, somebody has to be punished. Somebody has to die. And Carl actually gives himself up. He said, look, then kill me. And the look on Negan's face was very just insane, because he had a look of, oh my God. And he even asked him, what did you just say?
Yeah, it was, we've seen flashes, like real small flashes of like the serious Negan. And this was probably the longest period of time that he was serious and emotional, you could even say.
Yeah, very emotional.
At the fact that here was Carl wanting to give his life, and Carl even said to him, like, is this how you want it to be? Was this what you envisioned your life being like, or this world being like at this exact moment? And he said, if it's going to make things better between everyone, then yes, I will sacrifice my life.
Yeah. Negan asked him, do you want to die? And Carl says, no, I don't. But if that's what it takes to stop this, then yes, I'm willing to do it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to die. And so, and that's where, there was another pivotal scene. I was just like, okay, I know they're not going to kill Negan, of course, right there. But of course, Carl could have easily just killed him right then and there. But it's not going to happen that way. But now knowing exactly how the episode ended, he was ready to go.
Yeah.
He was, look, I'll just kill me now.
He knew exactly.
I know it's going to happen soon, so just do it. If it'll end it. So.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't know Negan was going to show up at that time, but at that moment where he's standing in front of Negan, he knew that his life was going to end either way, whether he was going to give it to Negan or whether he was going to die because of the infection. So, the Alexandria is surrounded.
Yeah. The others get out back. Yeah. They get in the trucks and they lead out back.
With the help of Dwight.
Who
very minimally surrounds the back, like with a couple of cars.
With just a couple of cars. And one of I can't remember her name.
I forgot her name, but she's got
that tattoo. Yeah. And she's kind of saying, hey, we should have put the trucks here. These aren't going to hold. And he's like, it'll hold. It's fine. Now, Dwight is awesome. Dwight was the man in this episode. But they get out the back, and then they immediately, Dwight and them, go chase after him. And that's when Negan goes full on ballistic, is because he thought that
like they radio to the rest of the saviors. They got out,
right?
And this is when you go ahead.
Yeah, this is when Negan goes crazy because he's thinking that Carl was basically just saying this stuff as a ploy to get away, and he's like, "Did you do that, you asshole?"
We were having a serious moment.
Yeah, we're having a serious moment, and then he, tells the saviors to fire. They have these grenade launchers, and they just now the onslaught of fire and grenades begins, and
the attack on Alexandria really steps up, and we're talking. Negan gives the orders to grenade every single house, except Rick's house. And
which he's going to be there because he's going to be making spaghetti.
Yeah, he said, "I'll be making spaghetti. Send Rick my way."
Yeah, send Rick my way.
In the meantime, Carl is going through Alexandria, setting off smoke bombs, making his way through Alexandria. We don't know where yet, but in the back, Daryl and the rest of Alexandria have escaped. Well, Daryl, Rosita, Michonne, and Tara are going to set up a trap.
Yep. Go to set up a trap. So they know that Dwight and crew are following them, so they're going to go drive a ways for a little bit, make sure they kind of lost them for a little bit, and then pull off the side of the road and see if they can lure them in and take them out. Which, if you want to get right into that, we can go into that. They're on the side of the road, and they're, of course, wondering where they are right now. And they're throwing out smoke bombs. And so as Dwight and crew come up, they see the smoke. And the one girl, who's very skeptical, says, stop the cars.
You're leading us right to them.
Don't go in there. And he's like, Dwight's like, I want to get a little bit closer and check this out. And she's like, are you serious? You're going to take the trucks into the smoke. You're going to kill us. And as he does, Daryl and them fire upon him, and a firefight ensues. And close to the end, Dwight actually kills.
He kills several.
He kills several of the saviors, except for the girl. And that's when the girl figures out that this was you the entire time. You are the mole.
Yeah, and she escapes.
So because Dwight gets shot in the arm.
He gets shot in the arm by her. Yeah, and immediately Daryl and them come around because Dwight is hiding behind a tire of the truck. So he's dodging all the fire that's coming in, and then finishes off his own crew to help them. Tells them that it's over, and then they come to him.
I figured
Tara was the first one.
Tara was the first one. You see the look in her eyes that she's ready to kill him. Daryl has a look in his eyes too, but Dwight goes in to say, "Look, it was me who allowed you out the back. It was me who did this." And he was like, "Look, let's just figure this out and we'll settle up after." Meaning, look, let's just get through this, and if you still want to kill me, fine. Let's settle up then. But it's like, I can still help you. I want Negan dead.
Yeah. I love the tension. I love it because
tension was great.
He knows that they want to kill him.
Yeah.
And they surely want to kill him. But what does Dwight do? Or Daryl do? Takes his wings back.
He takes his wings back.
It's like that's the first thing. He's like, all right, if I'm not going to kill him, I'm going to get my shit back.
He pulls him forward, rips the coat off, grabs the vest off. Dwight's in pain because he got shot in the arm. But that's
which I'm hating Daryl right now, but I love that.
Yeah. I don't know how. I mean, we'll get into this maybe another video, but I just don't know how they could have done it a different way without Daryl doing that. What could they have done differently?
Exactly.
What could the show have done differently? Like they wouldn't have. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
from the Dwight and Daryl.
No, I mean, you know,
or that actual scene.
The actual action of Daryl driving the truck into the sanctuary. If they wouldn't have done that, what else would they have done to allow the saviors to get out? Maybe it would have just still have been Eugene's plan.
Completely agree with you. I think that I hate it, but it had to happen, I think.
Right.
And I even said this in a couple videos. I'm like, look, this isn't going to be Rick winning, win, take over the saviors.
Yeah.
It's going to be win, loss, win, loss. I mean, it's a war. There are battles won and there are battles lost. And I knew that the losses were coming. And we get those losses in this episode even.
Yeah.
Let's just go into it.
Well,
Maggie.
Really quick. So one thing that at the interchange with Dwight and Daryl is Daryl does ask Dwight, did you guys get out from what I did? Now,
that's right.
Dwight, now Dwight does not answer him that way. He says Eugene.
But I get the sense that he didn't have to.
Yeah,
I get the sense that the way that Dwight was looking, that Daryl knew, and you could tell it's weighing heavily on Daryl.
Mm-hmm. It is,
because a couple of times I think Tara even has to remind them that it wasn't us.
Yeah, she said that to him.
It's both of them.
Yeah.
It's both of them. They pretty much know they caused this, and it'll be very interesting in the second half of the season what happens. You know, with that dynamic of look, this is a guy that caused Glenn's death. Mm-hmm. Now he's got to deal with this, so it'll be interesting. And
yeah.
But again, I agree with you. It had to happen. I mean,
yeah. And so we also get we do see Carol. She does come in to the Alexandria close to the end, helping get people out. Yeah. But we do see Carol. You kind of see the faces of what they did before driving. We see Jerry, and then we see Jerry actually get hit by a car. Yeah. So this kind of rolls into Maggie and her situation.
Yeah. So Maggie and the rest of the Hilltop. Well, what the Hilltop soldiers are actually driving along on the way to the sanctuary to accept the surrender, just like we said before. Everyone's going to do that. That's the plan.
Yep.
And they see trees in the road.
Yep.
And immediately, Jesus is like, it could have been a tree that just fell on the road.
Bullshit.
And Maggie
knows what's up, and she tells them to stop, which they do. She radios for the guy in the back or whomever to back up, and they don't. Because other vehicles are coming up.
Yep, and they are immediately taken over by the saviors. Not just any savior. Simon. When he got out, dude, I'm like, oh, I hate you.
But there's a truck that pulls right in front of Maggie, and they open the door, and it's actually Jerry. They pull him out, and then
kick him down the ramp.
He actually fell down the ramp, but but he's injured. He got hit by a car. And then they bring a coffin box, which has holes poked in it, and they lean that up against the truck where Maggie is. And so this is where we get Simon explaining, what the options are, and Maggie asks him, how did you guys get out? And he says, 3 tries or whatever. So he's like,
he's just a smart ass.
Yeah, he's like, we figured it out and got out. And then he mentions about, we hear the music playing.
Eugene.
And that's Eugene. And he's actually my people, Eugene.
Which, while we're on that topic, we get a quick shot of Eugene struggling to sleep, which that fucker should, excuse my language. He should struggle to sleep, but he does have a change of mind, and we'll go over this real quick. Basically, helps Father Gabriel and Dr. Carson get out.
Yeah, he drops keys to the car that he said is parked somewhere. Yeah. Gabriel does say, "Look, you can come back. They will take you back." But Eugene's like, "No, it's not what I'm doing. But I'll help you out."
Yep.
But anyway, where are we at? Oh, Simon.
Maggie. Yep.
Yeah, Maggie and Simon. So. You kind of hear the music playing, and he says, "Oh, that's Eugene. Now my people are leading the horde away." He's like, "Look, this is what's going to happen." He's like, "Because I'm a nice guy." He's like, "Look, there's 2 options you have. One, I can shoot your little pretty friend over here with a nice mane," which he's talking about Jerry, "and I can take you, put you in this box, which you won't die or suffocate like your friend Sasha."
Yeah, man, that was harsh.
Take you to the hilltop, kill you in front of everybody. And then I think he said, take your corpse back to the sanctuary, put it on a spike. And also lead the horde towards the hilltop. Oh, yeah, lead the horde towards the hilltop and do exactly what you did to our people.
Yeah.
Or I'll send you back because we have designated the hilltop, because the hilltop has a farm and crops.
Yep.
So Negan wants to keep that asset for food. We'll send you back home, but as punishment, we have to kill one of your people.
And when he said that, you could see the look on Maggie's face. It just turned to just boiling red. Yeah.
And he does it fast. Though.
Yeah. Immediately he caps the no name.
the guy. I think his name was. They said his name because she wanted to bury him. Neil, or I can't remember his name.
I think it was
the guy behind him. Yeah, the guy sitting behind him.
Yeah. He had one line, and that was. When Maggie said, when they were on their way to the sanctuary, she said, her and Jesus were talking, and Maggie said something like, would we give up after 3 or 4 days? And the guy's like, hell no.
Hell no.
And that's probably the only line he had.
Right. So he dies, and...
but she... Go ahead.
Well, no, she doesn't make the decision yet. So he's going to almost kill Jerry until she yells out, no, you don't have to do this. She accepts the second option.
On one condition.
Well, on one condition, yes.
That she gets to keep the box to bury Neil in.
Yeah.
And Simon...
grants that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which I was really surprised that the hilltop was designated as... I guess I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised they let Maggie go, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that... I think with their plan... I'm not sure the plan, just speculation, is I think, they want to use the hilltop for their food and reserves and stuff. So I know, because even Simon says, Gregory made a fool of me, and we're hoping that you make the right decisions.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they still want to keep them alive. I'm sure Negan still has a plan to kill her, but he's like, look, if you get the opportunity, just let her go back. We want to deal with the kingdom and Alexandria first.
Yeah. And not so much the kingdom, and we'll get into that, but mainly one person.
Well, yeah, Ezekiel.
But Maggie does return to the hilltop, very pissed off.
Vengeance.
And immediately takes one savior out of the imprisonment camp and caps him in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Before she kills him, though, she turns to Jesus and says, this guy tried to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately caps him.
Right.
So I think she's just basically instilling to Jesus, like, look, not all of them are good
people,
and the one good savior who we think is good at this point, because he's shown at least somewhat of good qualities, kind of insists to Maggie, stop, and she doesn't listen.
And she actually points the gun at him after she killed the guy and said, you want to be next? And he's like, no, I do not. And then as she's walking away, she starts to bawl. I mean, she's crying, because she's feeling the weight of all of this. But she does say to Jesus, get everything in supply. We got to fortify, because Hilltop's going to be the last stand. Which, yeah,
that's awesome. But if I'm not mistaken, I think this is what happened. She took that body of the savior she capped, put it in the box, and said,
38 more, stand down. I have 38 more.
I have 38 more stand down.
So 38 more saviors and prisoner. So stand down, and she tells whomever to put it to where they'll find it. So they're going to put that coffin somewhere where the saviors will find it to read that message.
That is badass.
That's badass.
So I love that. So yes, she had a moment of defeat, which is what we're talking about here. There are going to be those moments, but she went back and still stood strong in front of her people and said, no, this is not going to happen. This is not how we are going to lose.
Right.
And continues the battle. Because the battle wasn't going to be won in front of Simon. Right. They would have lost.
Yep.
But we get to the kingdom now.
Yep.
And Garen, I think is his name.
Gavin.
Yeah. Is probably one of the better of Negan's lieutenants.
He is. And I with the interactions that he's had with Ezekiel, with Morgan, I think he has conflict in him. He does. He sees both sides. Yes, he's still with Negan,
but he's stern.
But he's very stern. Yeah. But he's very empathetic.
Yeah.
You could hear it in his voice. And as he's talking to the people of the kingdom, he's like, "Look, I don't want this. There's kids here. They don't need to see this shit. Just tell me where Ezekiel is."
And he even gives them like multiple chances. Like he stops and like. You can tell he's just hoping that someone will say something.
And he gives them 5 minutes.
And then he's like, okay, I will do you one more time, 5 minutes, please. He's pleading with them. And look, and as I said before, I think that he is sympathetic to these people. It's just that he knows that, look, Negan is who he is, and we're not going to get around that.
And as they come into the kingdom, we see Ezekiel in his chamber, still sitting there holding the chains of Shiva, and he hears the commotion going on, and he actually is able to escape. So he's actually, as Gavin is talking to the people, he's kind of in the background watching, devising a plan. He blows up some barrels of gasoline, comes in a bus and kind of
gets his people out.
Diverts it, yeah. And one of the saviors is about to kill him. He's like, no, it's freaking Ezekiel. We need him alive. He's like he says he's more valuable than any of these people.
Yeah.
So as he's leading his people out, yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. No, I think I was just gonna say what you were gonna. I think is his whole only goal was to get his people to live. So he locks himself inside with Carol outside. This was obviously before she goes to Alexandria to help them out, but he locks it up with the chains. And he's captured. He's taken, into custody by
Gavin.
Gavin,
yeah.
Gosh.
And right before he closes the doors, he tells Carol, like, "Thank you for saving my life."
Yeah. It was another good scene. Again, I thought this episode was great. I just, there's one particular thing which we are about to get into.
Yep.
So the king's taken. On the outside, we see Morgan. Kind of listening to what Gavin is telling Ezekiel, that I believe they're eventually going to kill him and put him in a spike or put him on the fence.
Yeah, put him on display so your people can see your majesty.
I thought Morgan was going to bust in and just go crazy, but apparently they're saving that for the mid-season premiere.
For the premiere, yeah.
So we get back to Alexandria, right?
The fight.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Rick and Negan round 1. Officially round 1.
Round 1. So Rick arrives at Alexandria to see a bunch of smoke and burning and death all over the place.
He's looking for Carl. He's looking for Michonne.
He's looking for Carl and Michonne. He goes to his home, which is the only home left standing, basically. And Negan awaits, and a fight ensues.
Yeah, Negan hits him with the bat.
He hits him with Lucille, but it seemed like he hit him with like the lower part. Didn't hit him with.
I think he got him in the spikes. I think he did.
Maybe one.
Yeah. It was funny because we were watching it, and April, my wife, it was like, was that Lucille? And I'm like, yeah, that's Lucille.
And during this fight, Rick actually picks up Lucille because he hits Negan in the face.
Like, I'm sitting there like cheering, like that was awesome.
He hits Negan in the face. He actually picks up Lucille and starts hitting him with the other end, the handle end. And this is where we see Negan. He goes, "Don't you touch her!" He goes freaking crazy because Negan is the only one who can touch Lucille.
Yeah.
And he freaks out that Rick has her and says, "Yeah, do not touch her."
Yeah, that was great. It was hilarious.
And then he kicks him out the window and Rick escapes or whatever.
Yeah, and he was like, "Shit."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh shit." But it was really quick. It didn't last very long, but it was actually a good fight. It was funny because Negan keeps talking and he's like, "Look, he's like, do you understand that your kid gave himself up to die?" He's like, "You know what? I think I might keep him and use him because I like him and fix him." Yeah. And he's like, how are you raising this kid, man? And then I think Rick says, "Don't you ever shut up?" He's like, "No." It was so funny. Absolutely funny.
All right, so we get out. The Alexandrians they're all getting to safety. They're actually going down the sewer tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Except for Michonne.
Yeah.
Who decides to go stealth mode and psycho mode.
Yeah. So she gets grabbed by a savior who's saying everybody's gone, everybody's dead, and she goes, she pushes him back, hits him, stabs him through the eye, and then, just imagine a samurai. She's hacking at this dude with a samurai sword.
She is literally making minced meat out of his body.
Yeah. We don't see it, but yeah. And then as Rick is escaping, he runs into her and he's just like, "Where is everybody?"
Yeah. One thing to note, though, as they are going down to the sewer, we get Dwight and Rosita. Dwight turns to Rosita and says, "I'm sorry."
No, he says that to Michonne.
Does he?
Because Michonne
was the last. He says that
Michonne was the last one standing. Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
The whole Dwight. I love that character.
He's great, and I can't wait to see more of him because it's just going to get better with him.
Yep.
And so we get down into the sewer to the end, and Rick is seeing everybody down there. He walks by, Tara. He sees Daryl with Judith.
Before I get into the final, you got the sense that as he's walking through, because they're walking through a sewer tunnel, or the round sewer tunnel. There's people on each side of Rick as he's walking down the middle. And you got the sense that everyone's looking at him knowing what he's about to find out.
Nobody was looking at him.
Really?
Everybody was looking down.
You got the sense that they were they knew.
Right. Yeah, everybody was looking down. The only one that looked at him was Tara. As he walked by, Tara was the only one that kind of...
And she did not have a good look
glazed up on her face. No, everybody looked defeated. And that's the thing. Like, did they know? I didn't know if everyone knew. I just thought maybe they're just defeated from the battle.
I got the sense they knew.
Maybe.
Let us know what you thought, but I got the sense that they knew. So Rick comes in. Siddiq is in the back part of the sewer, laying next to some candles that are lit in a bed, I believe, or a makeshift bed, and says to Rick, "I brought him here."
Well, no, Siddiq doesn't say that. Carl says that. Siddiq doesn't say anything.
Oh.
Yeah. he's staring right
That's
at
right. He's staring at Siddiq.
He's staring at Siddiq like, okay, I remember this guy. Yep. And you hear Carl saying, "I brought him here." And then they're looking at Carl, and he looks absolutely deathly ill.
Yep. Pale, sweating.
Very pale, very sweaty. He says, I saw everything that happened. They pan down. Rick looks down, and Carl pulls up his shirt and shows that he is bit. If you guys don't remember, if you're wondering, you never saw him being bit, where did it happen?
You never saw him get attacked, actually, by any walkers in this finale episode.
Not this finale episode. It happened, actually, in episode 6, when he was with Siddiq in the forest fighting the walkers. Now, when you look at it, he has one walker that lies on top of him. He actually is able to push that walker off to the side. Another walker comes on top of him, and as you look up, that walker that's to his right doesn't get up. He just leans forward and then immediately turns and comes towards his right side. Then the camera pans away, and then he eventually shoots them both. And as Carl stands up, he pauses for a moment, and you see him look down at his right. And that's the actual point of when he got bit.
Yeah, and I walked away from that scene, actually, when, moving on to the next scene. I instantly thought that he did get bit.
Right.
I just, in the back of my mind, why would Carl get bit? If Rick and Carl are the two people in this series that are safe, 100% to me, in my mind, safe every single episode.
Right, exactly. So
not anymore.
Yeah, and that's how the episode ends.
He says one more thing, doesn't he? As the camera pans away.
What?
I thought.
I
think he says again, "I brought him here."
No, he only says it once.
Okay.
Yeah, but. You see the look. You see Michonne fall to her knees. You see the look in Rick's eyes. He is seeing the last of his blood right there, knowing that he's going to die. And what pisses me off about the show is that it ends in a cliffhanger. We know that Carl's going to die. Mm-hmm. We know that we might see him in the season premiere or in the mid-season premiere, maybe in a couple flashbacks for the rest of the season. Who knows how they're going to do it? But we know that he is going to die.
Yeah, not okay with that. Absolutely not okay with that. Look, no. We'll get in. We're going to do a separate video on Carl called "The Fate of Carl Grimes." So a lot of this material we're going to save for that video, but I just don't think that it was the right decision to make for the show. I truly think that Carl was supposed to be a main focal point, even after his father was no longer part of this. Even after his father died.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I'm all in all, the mid-season finale was really good. Do not like how it ended with the cliffhanger, especially what happened with Carl. I was okay with a cliffhanger. Well, I did not like the cliffhanger. I thought. Well,
yeah, bullshit. I mean, nobody likes a cliffhanger, but I'm okay with a cliffhanger.
Well, with a different cliffhanger would have been fine.
I'm not okay with the main, with a main character like this. Like, okay, you want to kill Gabriel, you want to kill Daryl, even. But to take his only... We're going to get into this in another video.
We're going to get into this. So stay tuned for the Fate of Carl Grimes video coming soon. Let us know your thoughts of the mid-season finale and how you feel The Walking Dead did with this episode. I did truly enjoy Chandler Riggs' performance in this. I thought he did it absolutely amazing.
Absolutely.
Dwight was a badass in this episode as well. We love the fight between Rick and Negan, but all in all, it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy the episode, aside from the last part of it. Honestly, it wasn't the best episode. That did drown it down a little bit, but by far, I mean, the first half of the season actually has been great.
Yeah, it's been really good. So give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and want to be notified of any videos that are going to be coming out soon. We will see you later. Check out our other Walking Dead videos coming up soon. We're NocBro Nation. We're out.